My name is Hanson Hossain, and I'm the Director of the Master of Communication and Digital Media. And I teach storytelling and social production and research, and I'm a filmmaker as well as a former television journalist. I first saw the flip camera, I think a couple months after it came out, and I recognized what they meant from a revolutionary point of view. Obviously we've had point-and-shoot cameras and we've had cell phone cameras for a few years, but what the flip camera brings is simplicity and accessibility to something that has been really outside of the realm of possibilities for most of us in the last 80, 90 years. And so to me, it's a wonderfully revolutionary product. And that's what we've decided to celebrate it and use it and explore its potential in our program very early on. In fact, our blog, Flip the Media, comes partly from the flip camera because we thought that was important to recognize. So I'm very excited about what the technology represents. Not so crazy about the quality, but I think the compromises are worth it in terms of what we can get done with it. If you got two things with the flip that make it so important. First of all, the cost. It's really cheap. So all of a sudden, cash-strapped departments anywhere, whether you're in journalism or universities, can afford, all of a sudden get into the video game without thinking about it too much. It's not a $1,000 purchase, it's a $75 purchase because there are discounts for flips. And secondly, the simplicity. And so all of a sudden, this program, before I came on board, actually didn't have a video, a video class. And because that's where I come from, obviously I want to teach that. But I'm not going to teach it the way I do it because it would take years to be able to figure out how to use these big cameras and do the kind of editing and precision that we normally look at in filmmaking. But all of a sudden, if you have this really simple device that people from 8 to 80 are using, and it's the #1 selling camcorder on Amazon.com, you recognize it as a game changer. And so we can use this in a teaching capacity so students can understand how the game has changed and also pick up some skills that don't necessarily require a year but can be done in a really accelerated format. So it has become an incredibly powerful. I was very enthusiastic about the flip for the last year and a half. In fact, so enthusiastic, they liked me so much they actually made me a custom-made flip for my film. So this is the symbol of my film. And so I've always been, and I've spread the word about it. But increasingly, I think we're seeing a shift in terms of production values, even among amateurs, that we've gotten, yes, we can all do this and it's great, we got the flip, but now we're demanding a little bit more. So now there's this Kodak camera, which is not as easy to use, it's not as small, but it has external microphone on it. So you can actually have better audio quality. So I think we're beginning to demand a little bit more in terms of production values. But now with cell phones actually sort of crossing the chasm and being able to do a lot what the flip does with that same quality, plus it's in one device, plus it has wireless access, I think we're moving more now to the mobile platform. Despite the fact that the flips are disposable and really simple and cheap, I think the next step really is live video streaming. And I think that's the reason why Cisco, the networking company, bought Flip. Because I think the next step is that we're going to see Wi-Fi connections in these cameras, at least Wi-Fi connections. And the kind of things that we do in our program with live streaming, almost everything we do, that's going to become simple. And that's going to have a huge impact on communication because all of a sudden you're going to have people going live from your street corner, and there's going to be privacy issues, there's going to be journalism issues, and it's going to be immediate information. And I think that's going to be really huge. So I think what we're moving to next is not the YouTube world, but the live stream world with these cameras. I mean, even with the Super 8 cameras from the 60s, it was obviously recording your family, but I think it also allowed amateur filmmakers to get in the game. I mean, we all hear about Spielberg and Lucas getting these things and messing around with them as teenagers and becoming really good at it. So you have that possibility that you just have people using it to tell stories that they want to tell and then share it with either their family or go well beyond that. So you have business applications, you have family applications, you have storytelling applications, which don't necessarily result in money, but actually get people to get engaged in that storytelling culture and be able to reach large audiences. And you also have activism. If you want to persuade somebody of some idea that you now have a really powerful tool, which is video, and that's good and it's bad. I remember when I was in Iraq in a few years ago, I did a story about how insurgents were using these really cheap cameras and DVD burning software to show executions of Americans or whatever else, and so we're going to hear a lot of great stuff, and we're going to hear a lot of bad stuff, and that's where we're going with this. Actually, it's where we already are. And video is powerful.